So I don't really know how to start.
It's always like you just like yeah, it's difficult when you think about it, but when you like just talk and then things pop up,
Yep.
always the starting part is probably difficult to start in a normal conversation, especially if there's no topic that you have in mind and you just want to talk about everything. uh, there's so many things that you can mention, but let's start with what are your interests, like what do you like?
I like I don't know, games, movies, books, humans.
Yeah, all those things are very interesting. Let's start with games because we got to know each other through games technically.
Yep.
So what brings people to play games together?
Yeah, it's fascinating the digital world, for me,
Exactly.
and it's ever changing,
Mm,
I see it like avant-garde, like people come here to experiment, and this changes our way of behaving in social life,
definitely.
because that's why a lot of people don't appreciate school that much anymore, because it's slow paced,
I actually feel that when it comes to like social games, people tend to learn so much more because they're playing with people from all over the world. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you're let's say you're talking about a game, sure, you're learning about the game, but that there are times when people start talking about other things, and it's
Yep, yep.
those other things, some of them, of course, silly, ridiculous, fantasyful, dreamy, but some of them are real, and I think these are the things, these are the things that people quickly pick up. Like, oh wow, this guy just said something that I've never thought about,
Yeah,
and it just goes from there and just builds from there.
it changes our perspective.
Yeah, I think that's why we've become so transparent. We've become less nationalistic. We've become less well opinionated on others' religious, choices. We've become less discriminative of other people's ethnicities, cultures, upbringings.
Sexual orientation.
Exactly, and I think that this is it's such a good thing, and it was so strong before that it could easily, turn to hate,
Yep.
uh, and that's kind of been diminished now.
Yeah, when
Oh
I
well,
when I go to the Mimeo and I see like national guilds like Romanian, Italian, or stuff like that, or Romanian only guild, Italian only guild, and like, why do you bring your flag here?
yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's all right, because
Hey,
some of them they're
yeah,
maybe they don't speak English
yeah,
or maybe
that's the principal motive, right? They don't speak
exactly.
another language and they keep it to themselves.
Well, we too, and especially here in the devious community, we have a lot of people who like actually have difficulties with English, but they're here just to actually improve, let's say,
Yep,
their English. You see,
yep.
so it's plus minus, I guess, anything. People who choose like a national community, respect to them, but I feel like they're limiting themselves a little bit to their culture and only their culture, which is okay, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But online you can reach for so much more.
So, what do you know about Unite and Serve?
Unite and serve.
Yes,
How do you mean?
it's like a principle, the opposite of divide and conquer.
Well, I don't know exactly how you mean, but I will say that's a unifying concept, right?
Yep, yep.
I don't know honestly, and like so the divide and conquer essentially was so good because you wouldn't have rebellious. You'll the bigger the empire, the bigger the conquest. The people would divide and conquer because so that it would cause unstableness between a faction, a realm, or a territory, or a geographical location, regardless of different ethnicities, cultures, and people. But the whole, what do you call it again?
Unite and serve.
Unite and serve sounds so like it sounds much more difficult. Let's say uh,
It
that
sounds. Yes,
like
say.
how does someone even start with that? You know, like what can he do with that? It sounds difficult. Like where do you even start? Like and how do you control it? It sounds well. If it's small, then it's small and humble origins. Then you can build up. So when it's small, it's a small community and it's easily controllable. But let's say if it's already big, and that's why the notion of divide and conquer comes in, because it's already so big, it is difficult to control. But if it's small, then it's easy. You grasp your head around what is needed, what needs to be done, and then you do it, right? Uh, so that, but if it's so, it depends on the concept. Is it already big? Is it something that someone has just taken upon themselves, to challenge themselves? Are they starting from humble beginnings, like I mentioned, or are they starting at a it's like it's a big project, it's already, let's say, in the millions, then it's difficult. I think that's probably very difficult.
Yeah,
Wait,
it's
what are
like
your thoughts on that?
this principle. I heard it from a friend. It's like something like a mantra for me. I try to guide my life with it, and I saw you doing this with doing that in the devious community at with how do you say it, with master. Like you people unite around you.
Mm. Yeah, like being so I will regard myself as generally as a leader, someone who takes action and, well, yes, we'll try and unite people under a cause. Uh, in games, of course, it's easy because the principle of the rule set of the game is already set, right? So it's very easy to unite people in a game and for a cause in a game, and to get them spirited or to get them hyped, and then to face the challenge together, because let's be honest, that's one of the main reasons why I am a leader. It is to achieve something as a unit, as a group, as a force to be reckoned with, let's say. And alone that would never be achievable.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, for me, it's like my superiority complex kicks in. It's like, hey, these people are not that good. You know.
And that's not just you, that's a lot of people. It is a human thing to, let's say, if I feel like I am better than you, then in every way will I try and like showcase that I am superior than you.
Or
And
put
then a lot
some,
of people,
or put a distance, put a wall. Like.
exactly, and a lot of people do it. It's not just this is a general thing. I kind of have learned that this is not a trait for me. Like it's I embrace power and I respect power. So I am not succumbed by power. Do you understand?
Yes, yes,
And the notion is that you can give me as much power as you want, but I will never abuse it because I don't feel superior to others. And I will never use that superior power in any way to suppress others. You see?
yeah,
And if someone is greater than me, then I can only respect that in either awe or follow. But if there's nobody who technically in my head is doing it better than I am, then I have to take charge. It's not because I feel I'm better than others. It's just so that someone takes the first step and
Yeah.
instigates. So even if I have instigated and someone then comes in and tries to like take over or make it better, I will let it happen. But if that person is trying to take over and does worse, then I will show him his place, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not because I am a dictator, but because I will have the opinion of the people, and it will be visible that this person tried, but he did it worse than myself. So I will grasp. I will then again grasp in again. I will take the step in correcting what this person, because everybody thinks they can do it until they do it. It is the it is difficult, and then they see that it is difficult. Whatever challenge, I'm talking about generally any challenge in the world. Uh, because from the outside, when someone has never done it, it is honestly, it looks easy. Let's say whatever challenge it is, it will look easy for the naked eye that comes from the outside until they do it themselves. And when they do it, and I've seen this a lot of times, they go like, "Oh, Erah, when you're leading, it looks so easy." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And then I go, "Yes, it is easy. You should try." Because I always want to indulge other leaders, and I never want to go like, "Yes, it's no, it's actually very difficult, and you should never try." But then they do try, and then go, "Wow, it actually wasn't that easy after all. How does Erah do it?" You know?
Yep.
And that is where it's like an eye opener for a lot of people. That yes, Era is making it look easy, and it might be easy. So let me try, and if it's not, well, then I will actually have my own opinion on it, and that's what I want. I want everybody to have their opinion on it and how it feels and how it actually is for me, who wants to be a leader. You see, and of course, they want to be probably a leader too. There's a lot of people who want to be leaders. I call this the alpha wolf pack, the wolf pack, the alpha in the wolf pack concept.
You know the theory is false. Like the guy who proposed it first contradicted it. The alpha theory. Not all wolf packs behave like that.
No, of course not. All wolf packs are different.
Yep.
Actually,
Yep.
there are actually alphas in a wolf pack that are dictators. They
Yeah.
will take and do whatever they want. Those are the let's say let's just call them the bad alphas. They do lead by example, but they also lead by selfish content, and so their ego is so strong that being the alpha makes them literally overwhelming over others, and only can you challenge that by physically or mentally breaking them. But then you have alphas, of course, who are benevolent in full on sharing, but he is the strongest still. You see,
Yep. Yep.
and that is why he is the alpha. But he still takes suggestions and options from everybody. He listens to everybody. This is the alpha that everybody wants, of course.
So
And
where
this,
do you get your energy from?
I think, the energy I get from is because first and foremost, I love games, and so we have to take that notion is that I grew up with games. I love games because I love challenges, for example. Then, slowly but surely, growing up, I developed this thirst for playing games alone. It's not so fun and might not be so challenging, you know?
Yeah.
So let's start trying to play multiplayer games and let's see how that works. And I think it's this notion when I first start playing with other people, I get to see how people are in those games that I enjoy. And here, of course, hey, like I told you, I will follow other leaders because so I'm not, this guy which is like whatever game I play, I will be the leader because that's my, personality, you know. I am a conqueror and a dictator. Uh, if there is a good leader, then I will follow him. And when I joined, actually, Devious, well, actually, okay, the way I joined Devious was um, I was playing PlanetSide at that time, like 6 years ago, and Aldrin approached me. So he's already leading the community. So Aldrin, takes me under his wing, and now suddenly I'm in his community, but he wants me to lead PlanetSide. So this is the first time I'm the leader for PlanetSide. Now the current leader, of course, is Flux, and I respect and I follow Flux. You see,
Hmm.
for these very examples, my personality is not of a egocentric. I am the only leader type personality, because I will gladly follow Flux. I know he has a lot of potential. He's a good leader. Anyway, so the concept of that grew into, yes, that's the challenge is greater with other people, and it's just so much interesting. Humans make everything so much interesting, regardless if it's difficult or bad or boring or exciting. Humans are the source of my energy, I think, and that everybody is so
Human
different.
interaction.
I think that's what it is. Because, like, okay, so you enjoy games, right?
Yep.
But and then you enjoy a set of games, and some of those games are multiplayer, and to enjoy it completely you have to play with other people, right?
Yep.
Because what's the point of a multiplayer game if you still want to play it alone, like any team game? Why would you play any team game alone? The only thing you're doing is handicapping the team from playing as a team. uh, while you're in that team, this means you're a selfish person, because you're playing a team based game, but you want to play it alone. This means you're a selfish person. In my eyes, this means you're a selfish person. So, what is it that drives you when it comes to multiplayer games?
I don't know. It's like the art, the the synchronicities. It's an aspect that I like. Like I don't know. I come from home to. I come from the city home, and something happens. Like a scene, and that scene repeats in the game that I play. It's like, hey, this is interesting. Like, it's because synchronicities, like Jung described them. That's where I learned from them. It's like aspects in your life that repeat themselves. It's like lesson that you don't learn, and they repeat in your life till you get it.
Mm. Do
But
you understand why it happens?
yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Or understand a message, like they try to convey something to you.
Because yes, let's be honest. Anything human interaction we learn from.
Yes, yes,
We
and
start
it's
to
like
understand why.
when I like humans, and to understand human, it's like one of the spaces that it's more mysterious. Like sleep is mysterious in humans. We don't really know why
Yes,
why it happens and what happens.
true.
Uh, Imagination is mysterious. It's a lot of words thought only in imagination. And
Mm.
now we have the digital world, which is like
It's
from
opened a whole new door.
yep, yep.
Definitely, definitely. All right, cool. I mean, okay, so that mainly that is why we're playing games, because we're looking for a challenge, and like you said, human interaction is endless. So definitely that is an igniter for us. Let's say that's why we like multiplayer games. And I mean, games, came way before the digitalized world.
Yep.
Board games, sports, everything. Right? And all those games were also human interaction.
Yeah.
I'll just say some of these online games are, bigger. Let's say take it to
And
a whole new
somehow,
level.
yeah, somehow interesting. And I like to quote Tupac. As he said in one of his movies, like some games you play, some games play you.
Mm. This one is good. This one is so good. And real life, if you will call it a game,
Yeah.
that's what real life does to you.
Yep.
Real life is kind of playing you.
Yeah, and you play a game in real
It
life, yeah.
exactly.
You have a
Oh,
hustle.
this is it. This is it. And then it also is the concept of is life playing you or are you playing life?
Both at the same time.
Exactly. And I think that is the game itself. You know. Yeah. So either you're being played or you're playing the game, and both can happen, of course, at the same time too. There's not a linear
Yeah,
thing.
because imagine that, like, we are a team of developers, right? And we create Black Desert Online, right?
Exactly.
And we open the door, a lot of people pour in, right?
Exactly.
We will be amazed what some people do in the game. You know, what how they behave, how they find, you know, like stuff we didn't see, you know, like details that we
Exactly.
missed, right?
So you created the game, but here are the players playing the game.
Yep.
You see? So yeah, that is so interesting. Like imagine like you as a developer, you created the game, just like any religion believing in a higher being created us. You know, so technically and awfully, I'm not even going to compare it, but it's kind of like the same thing.
Yep.
Let's say everybody who's playing any MMORPG game, this is a world that someone built, and others are enjoying what someone built. You see,
Yep.
and they will play it for years. Fuck, they'll play it for their whole life
And then
because
you have like other type of let's say malevolent creators that introduce their own software to the to the server.
mm, these are the rebels. These are the outthinkers. These are the ones who break all the rules.
Because why not?
This and it's literally it's the concept of the Matrix.
Yep.
You see?
Yes.
So whatever system we are created into, we want to break free from.
No, not all of us. There
No,
are
no, no,
some
yeah,
types of people that that's how they play games. You know, that's
yeah,
what.
exactly. There are those who are content with the rules and
Yeah,
the yeah, of life. Let's say true, true.
they don't even bother to suggest changes, right? They just
Yes,
play.
they're so in the system and they're so happy and content with the system that these are also the people that don't want and see change. You know, because inevitably with humans, it is change. It is the future we're looking to.
Yeah,
So even if there
it's
is a
like
system,
the hustle between conservatorism and avant-garde. You know.
yeah, but yeah, exactly. So let's say 400 years ago, let's say 600 years ago, actually, in the Middle Ages, when everything was set and the rule set was set, there were lords, there were peasants, there were slaves, there were kings. This was a rule set that worked, for thousands of years. And so people who lived in that time were enveloped in that, time and era. And there were little they could do except, moving forward with new technology and with new technologies and new discoveries, the world slowly changed.
Yes,
Of
slowly.
course, yes. Of course, that was 600 years ago. In the
Yeah, but
recent,
it depends. Like you can, I don't know, in medieval era you have a village, you live there like 20, 30 years, and it gets destroyed, completely destroyed by an army, you know.
Mm,
And that's a traumatic fast change in your life, right?
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Very traumatic.
Because not everybody had like a boring repetitive life of growing crop, you know.
Yes, they had their crops stolen, destroyed, burned.
Yes, and it's like in France, there's some stories like some crops of grain got some psychedelic mold on them, and the whole city went had hallucinations. You know, like they. They didn't really understand what happened.
Hmm.
Like imagine a whole village or city hallucinating and not knowing why they are hallucinating, right? Because it's one thing to know you're hallucinating, and another thing to know you're hallucinating and why, and another thing is to not understand what the fuck is happening around you, you
Yes.
know?
I think that's the scariest thing that was in those times is that they didn't know, knowledge was lacking. No school. The only thing that you learned was from your father or your friends. You see,
Yeah,
so limit. They were so limited because of that. I mean, imagine today that the only thing you learned was from your family and friends, and you're
yeah.
living
Going
in a
going to war was the adventure back then, you know. Like you leave your village, why you go trade or go to war, right? You
yeah,
have two
exactly.
options: you be a trader or a warrior to leave your city or your village. Otherwise,
And
you
I think
start.
everybody would take that,
Yeah,
risk because humans love, adventure and the unknown.
yeah. You don't
We're-
want to live the life your parents lived.
Exactly. So like war, oh, we're going new places. Let's go. You
Yeah,
know, where are we going?
that's
Oh, what are
fuck.
we doing? Oh, we're killing other people. Okay, that's fine as long as we get to see new places.
Yep.
And it's for the empire. It's for the empire. We love the empire. Yeah, for the empire. We're gonna get a lot of money too. Oh, of course. That's the best. Who doesn't want money? As a soldier, I'm gonna get paid. Wow, I'll do it.
And
So yeah.
nowadays, uh, it's like over information. You know, like you have access to information, but you get distracted with like twerking and stuff like that. You know,
Mm,
like one morning I was watching a guy, watching another guy, watching something cringe on TV, right?
mm.
And I was like, what the fuck with this loop, you know? Why why am I here? Why am I watching this?
I was gonna say. So in contrast and in comparison to 600 years ago, because that's how things were at that time. In the recent 1900 or 2000. So let's say in the last 40, 50 years, we've seen drastic change, because of technology, because of the online world. And so it feels like we're going through an epoch much faster,
Yeah,
because already I am pure example here, because as I was a kid, I didn't own a phone. But then now already I see kids in like 4 or 5 years old owning a phone.
yeah. Like when I was in eighth grade, they were talking about having a phone, right? And I was
Yeah.
like, why would I want to have a phone? Like to be called by my mother, where are you? Come home, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
I want to be free and
Oh my god. That's so true. I think that
not a
now it's
businessman.
literally that is to control, like parents controlling their children not to do anything bad and by giving them a phone.
Yeah, you want to have a GPS on a child, you know.
Exactly. Constantly know where your kids are.
Yeah, I remember I was with my mother at like growing crops, some crop out far away from home, right? And
Hmm.
we asked for water, and she told us that there's a spring, like that direction, and we left to go to the spring, right? And she lost us because
Oh,
she didn't expected us to leave for the spring, you know.
yeah.
And she freaked out, like she searched for us like half a day, you know,
There you
to
go.
the to the hills.
And had you had a phone at
Yeah,
that time, She would have just called you. Where
Yeah.
are you? Get your ass back. And problem solved, you know? So, of course, I will say without a phone, for parents, for example, or any other, business and things like that, without a phone, it was much more difficult with communication. And I think
Yep.
that's the key, communication. And it opens so many new doors. One person can achieve so much, but two can achieve the double. You see?
Yeah.
So with communication and cooperation between just two people, you've opened a new door for a whole new world and a new world of possibilities, and anything is possible.
Yeah,
Anything,
we just
is
have to learn to cooperate now.
exactly. Anything is already possible with just one person, because any person can do anything now today, you know, if they really want to try hard enough. So it's the drive, and this is where we come back to the drive, right? You asked what gives you all this energy. It is the interest. It is the interest that I like it, and that's why I drive for it. It's the sole purpose.
I I kind of, I, I'm like borderline this period, and it's like I can describe every moment like rationally how I decide. I can describe this moment like being a waste of time, suffering, hell, dark, But I can describe it the other way also, and
Mm.
very constructive, very life affirming, very beautiful,
Yeah.
And it's like flipping a coin, because the other perspective gives you information also, you know. Even if you don't enjoy what you do or you don't enjoy life, I think you can see some stuff from that perspective, because it's easier for me to empathize with people that use that perception, even if for me it's temporary.
Mm. I was gonna say, so where were we? Yeah, human interaction, definitely the biggest reason to play games, to do anything together, and I think that's the most interesting aspect.
You said you overslept today. Are you dreaming when you sleep?
Rare, actually, lately I have been dreaming a little bit, but I think my biggest issue is that I most often don't remember my dreams. I'm one of those guys, like I don't remember my dreams.
What do you think about lucid dreaming?
Um, Honestly, I know very little about dreams in general because I feel like there was never a time where I sat down and wondered what dreams are for because I dream so little myself. So I feel like I'm not a dreamer, but I probably am. Everybody dreams.
Yeah, I think you're like a reactionary, right? You're every time in the moment, very aware of every detail, what's happening around, and react to the to what's happening.
Yeah, but for the dreams, I don't know. So I probably will dream something when I'm sleeping, and then I wake up and then I've forgotten it. And actually, sometimes I do wake up and I am well aware that I have dreamt something, but there's just very few information like that I remember when I woke up, for example. Very rarely will I remember the whole dream, for example, or most of the dreams will be abrupt and they're not full, because there's a lot of people who feel like dreams are a message, something that your subconscious is trying to tell you, right?
Yep.
And often it probably is.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
but
was.
like you say, I am maybe a person who is often self aware. So, as much as I will listen to my subconscious, I am probably aware of what my subconscious is constantly wanting to go in a direction.
Yeah, because you work on momentum, right? You don't have to. You don't stop to reanalyze what happened in the
Yeah.
past. That's why you don't remember dreams, because you're thinking about present and future, right? Most of the time, how I
Yes.
see you.
Yes. Very rarely will I think about nostalgic things that happened a while ago.
Yep.
And also, actually, my short term memory is not that good. So when I think about something that I did maybe yesterday or a couple of days ago, I probably will have forgotten a lot of detail. But then later, I will start slowly to remember again. Like, oh yeah, that is what I did.
Yeah, you get information by usability, right? Do you need that? Do you really need that information right now, or it's
Exactly.
just like
Exactly. So I think, well, I mean, every human brain, we're using what 10%. That's what they're trying to say, right? Uh, and I think subconsciously you unlock more of your memory with time, because time is the ultimate absolver of everything. And in due time, when you get old, you also forget everything. So it's the health of the human brain. If you're young, you will remember most things.
yeah. But nowadays, you really can't define what's a good memory, like because of how we communicate or how we share information these days. It's like not like how we used to do it like 5 years ago, you know. And I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, it's like not only the technology changes, we are changing also.
Of course, there's never a one thing that changes us. It is everything as a whole. But it's like a keychain. Technology, communication, and then with every revolutionary item, more change is coming because of that item. That chain of items coming, or science revealed, changes the way we think about everything. But of course, everybody thinks differently. So you think of it some way, and others think of it in a different way,
Yep, yep.
and it's only natural because
I
we're all different.
I have I have a thing that I always like to tell people. It's like we are already cyborgs, you know.
Yeah. I want to believe that, but you don't want the idea that we're already cybernized and we're already set. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because the freedom is then taken from you, and that will be kind of sad.
It's a
Like,
uh, listen, Jen. Like a lot of people contradict, you know. Where it's like, well, we're not really there, you know. And I tell to
yeah,
them, hey, spend 24 hours without using electricity.
yeah, yes.
You don't
Of
have
course,
to
of course,
have
there are some people
who do
who
it.
much rather, not spend, like they will be in a hut on a mountain and hunt for their food. You know what I mean? But it's rare. So
Yeah,
you're right.
it's a minority.
Exactly.
So,
And the masses have been consumed. You know,
yep.
I'd say anybody who has been raised in a city has been consumed.
Yeah, we're addicted to the city. We can't live on
This thing.
villages. Even if you put somebody to a village and you give him food, he wants drama, he wants action, he
He
wants
will be
adrenaline.
so bored that
Yes,
he will create chaos.
yep, yep,
He will invoke it
yep.
intentionally. This is the
Drama.
concept of a man just wants to see the world burn, you know, because you've driven someone to something that they are not familiar with, that they are not enjoying, that it is just not them. You know, it's not their personality that they have evolved and become.
they have to change and adapt, and it's not
Exactly.
easy.
And I think that that's where we're coming back to the, something drastic could go either way, good or bad, you know?
Yep.
Like those young kids in the 1600s when they went to war, they could have seen a possibility, but then they see the war and they go, wow, this is horrible. Why did I do this? You see? So everything and every choice that we make is plus minus. There's nothing, alpha omega about any choice that you make.
Yep.
Yeah, this was the best choice I've done in my life. That's untrue. There's always something else. So the notion and the concept of that is a lot of people use that. And especially I see teenage girls who've been raised, in media, in social media. This is the best day of my life. No, it isn't. The best day of your life is when you were born, not when you took a selfie with a celebrity. You know, and that always comes back. Like that's human. I'll say error even.
Yeah, some people's game is popularity, they want to be popular, they want to be associated with popularity.
Exactly, and that's like their epitome. That's like their goal. You know, I want to be a celebrity, and of course that's okay. There's nothing wrong with such a simple. Because honestly, when I think about it, I am very simple and humble too, and I want to stay very simple and humble in the way that I don't want to be superior to anybody else. It's
Hey,
that we come back to that concept.
there is a part of me that wants to be famous and wants to be admired.
Sure, but so let's say, and that I will hold you to that because once you become that and you're engulfed in that, and you're already complex of feeling superior to others, right?
Yep.
Will consume you.
Yep.
Your character will change once you have reached, once you've fulfilled what you always wanted, which was, let's say, to become famous. And this happens to everybody, and all those people that it happens to, they will deny it.
Yeah. No,
You
not
see,
everybody. There are people that say that fame is, it's. They talk about the problems of fame. Like
of
it's not
course,
that cool.
that's the other notion that you think you have dissolved yourself with problems once you're famous and rich. That's not the case. It's just new problems
Yep.
and different problems. So you will never get. That's
Can
human. That's
can
human
get
nature.
addicted to applause.
Where are my applauses? And then if you don't get enough, you slit your throat. Literally, that has probably happened in human history, that we are aware or that we know of. So, and what's that? More money, more problems. That's where literally that comes from. More money, more problems. More fans, more problems. More anything, more problems. Because you open the doors of possibility for success, but you also open the possibility for, you
Failure.
know, so chaos. And that's what it is. So if you want, so like let's say a person like me, honestly, I don't have that much opinion. This is me personally. I don't have that much ambition because I don't really know what it is that I want to do. Uh, anything with anything in life. So mostly, like you said, I live in the momentum. So for a fast thinker like me, that's great. Because I will say that this defines my personality. There is very little I look forward to in the future except the unexplored and the adventure that awaits me, whatever, and regardless of how big or how small it is. You see,
Yep.
because my ambition is not to become, let's say, the greatest leader, uh, gamers have ever seen, but just to be a good leader. That probably is. recognized as a good leader, and that's enough. And I don't even need to prove or have the feeling that I need to prove that I am a good leader. I can hear it and I can feel it in everybody's presence and acknowledgement. You know,
Yeah,
that is the other human interaction of knowing or being content. That's I think that's a big thing too. So like some people's ambition will drive them to ruin, literally, because it is endless and that thirst is endless. So they are never content. But I'm already content, and as little and as humble as that is, I am already. You see,
yeah,
so I'm not striving for more, and I think that is a little bit of a thing that has become in the last 100 years that people are too ambitious and they will disregard everything that is not ambitious. At the very least, it's kind of sad.
yeah. It's like we're educated to be competitive, to
I
want to
think this,
win.
it's this last 100 years where everybody is striving for more because we can, and we couldn't before. I think that is the biggest concept. Hmm.
I like the shadow in Black Desert Online. It's like that guy that comes follows you around.
The Black Spirit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice representation of our dark side.
That's the thing, and I love Black Desert's story because so the Black Spirit finds you, and he is very weak and fragile. So the only thing he can do is he takes your memory and he becomes your friend. And uh, do you know the story? Because I don't want to spoil it for you because I want you to play it and find out your story
No,
yourself.
we can
Uh,
talk about the shadow, because everybody has it, but not everybody acknowledges or communicates with it directly.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So the Black Spirit in the game grows if you haven't noticed. When
Yeah,
you first get him, he is just, eyes and a small shadowy figure. With time, as you grow in power, so does he. He grows in power too. And I think this is a good reflection on life. The more you grow, the more you have, so does your dark shadow. And if you don't uh, control it, contain it, sustain it, it will consume you.
yeah, I can take over.
And it literally in the game represents that because as you grow, you how far have you come in your story?
Uh, I level 27.
And which country are you in? In Balanos, Serendia, or Calphion?
I don't really know. I'm fighting Nagas and stuff like that.
You're in the swamps.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're very early in the story, and I don't want to spoil later in the story, but you've already seen that from where you started, the little spirit grows a little bit. Now your spirit probably has teeth, right?
yeah. He sort
Yeah.
of clenches them.
Yes, and then he probably has some runics on him. Um, and the more you play, the more he will grow. Just like you, the stronger you get, his physical presence grows. And honestly, if you follow the story 100%, and you get everything from the black, just the Black Spirit story. It is kind of frightening how well they have made his persona. And well, the game overall, I admire this game a lot because the people who made this game really took their time with this game, and all the systems in the game. Like you're so fresh in the game that you've only seen, like, you're just killing monsters and leveling up, right?
Yeah, yeah, but
And
I saw some of the mechanics. What was your first MMO?
I think my first MMO, my first real MMO, probably would have been World of Warcraft, or like Silk Road.
Silk Road.
Yeah, yeah, something along those lines. But I didn't play those for too long though.
You know Lineage?
Yes, yes, I know Lineage too. So around those times. Mm. And then Lineage 2 came, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only saw Lineage too. I didn't see the first.
Mm. The first one was a long time ago, and I tried that too. But yeah, Lineage 2, of course, much better, much
I
better.
like to sell stuff in games, to trade stuff. Like I sold an X on the auction house.
Mm.
At the beginning, I was like, hey, nobody was gonna buy this. This is too weak. Who's going to who's buying stuff at this level, and you can kill and drop, and now I sold it and I'm happy. I got a message that it has been sold.
And you can, of course, you can sell a lot of stuff in the marketplace here in BDO as well. But I know what you mean with personal trade, because I think in Lineage and in Silk Road, actually, you could have personal trade. You could trade with one other player right next to you.
Yep.
That has been kind of removed for many reasons in BDO because of gold farmers, gold sellers and stuff. So they've eliminated personal trading. You can
Yeah,
still give like potions to someone, but then
gaming.
even those potions that you give to someone, they cannot sell those potions. They have
I
to use them.
I think gaming has to be like it will make a revolution with the cryptocurrency and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that. And yes, honestly, if they introduce it, it could change gaming a lot because crypto is a real currency. And if they bring
Yeah,
that to
but
the game,
that's the thing, and even every currency in Black Desert Online or every other game, it's a real currency.
yes, that's true. That's true. And just like, yeah, yeah, exactly. Because this is something you've been, farming, grinding, for a long time to accumulate all this
Yeah, you
wealth.
you use it to exchange stuff.
Exactly. It's just different. Yes, Bitcoin, let's say, and coins in general are just, trying to hit the real market, you know?
When I was young, I was like very against MMOs because they were like how I saw them too much like life, no,
Mm,
because people went there to uh, gather stuff, power,
yeah.
wealth, and
Technically, like work.
yes,
They
and
were working,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
for
and
what
there's
they
like
wanted.
I was saying to my friends that are playing, it's too much like real life. I want to have something funny. I want to say to have something which I have more control of, you know. Not
Yeah.
I wanted something single player where I don't have to interact with people, and
Mm.
we're at drinking some beers, right? And a friend goes like, "Hey, I have to defend my castle. I have to go now, right?" And
What?
we are having fun. The things are going nice now, and he gets up and leaves because he has to defend the castle. Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I would never do that though.
But
If
a couple of years go by, and we're like, there's it's a guy's birthday, right? And he's sad because he doesn't have money to party, to drink or something to celebrate, right?
mm,
We were trying to make him happy and stuff like that, but he was not responding. And the same guy that left at the end and to defend his castle decided
yeah,
to sell his sword. And he made some phone calls. Some guys came, like three guys came into the apartment that we were renting, right? They
yeah.
put money on the table, they log in, they give they he gives them the sword, and they leave. And we were like, what the fuck, man? And there was a lot of money, right?
uh,
For a digital sword.
that's crazy.
But it was a powerful sword.
That's the thing. If there's interest, then as you say, even because yes, there are people who sell their accounts. You
Yep.
know.
And it's like I was playing a phone MMO, right? And there were like boots doing like farming and mining and stuff that you don't want to do because it's repetitive and boring, right?
Yeah.
And people were upset, like, hey, why don't you do something about them? Why do they're here? Why do they exist? And it's like, hey, the game has to you can't make them go away, right? They're here to stay. Like even in real life, right? The industry will automate itself. People will lose their jobs, where they will have to reinvent themselves
Mm.
to to live life, right? You don't have to compete with robots. And it's like I can make a robot that does what you want to do, but more efficient and more economic, more cheap, more ecological.
Mm.
And you're like, hey, but what about me? You're a human. You can reinvent yourself. You can do something else with your life.
Yeah.
That's why I think like universal basic income, like or like basic housing, will need to be implemented, or else human life will be pretty. I don't know how to call it. Pretty weird, right?
One more time.
I say like in the future we will need like universal basic income or and universal housing, or else human life will be weird. Like rich people uh, will do stuff to people that don't have to so much. They will do weird stuff to them, right? Because they have money and
They're
they
already
don't.
doing it.
Yeah, but with automation, things will get weirder if we don't implement those social policies.
Mm. Definitely. I mean, you could see that from an example from like the Roman times. Everybody with money could do literally anything that they wanted to do because there was no social restrictions.
Yeah, but now it's cultural, like because it's like you go, your woman sell their body, right? Sell their image, like because that's the culture. That's what the industry is promoting, right?
Mm.
And that this is like how do you call it? A problem left to us from our parents, right? Like figure out sexuality, right? In a more peaceful and civilized way.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna wrap this up.
Yes, how much? How? Yeah, yeah, sure. I mean, we've been at it for a while, and it's
Yep.
fun. We went from well, we did hold a key, uh, uh, we held like a tone. We went through something. We went back through something. We built the convo. This is good. It's good. We went into several topics actually.
Yeah. It's fun to talk to you.